Heavy work followed by pump work has been a successful strategy for natural bodybuilders going back all the way 100 years ago. This is a strategy and an approach that has been proven effective over and over and over and over and over. And I would argue that it really is the way to go if someone, particularly if they have, no magical supplements in their stack, right? So if you're doing this completely clean, this is the single best approach you can use to your programming. And so what do I mean by heavy work followed by pump work? I don't mean you have to max out. What I mean is we need to be doing big, heavy compound movements followed by smaller pump work. So examples you'll see in this video, and it doesn't mean I did this exercise immediately, right? I didn't always do it immediately because sometimes there's multiple exercises between, but like right there you saw me doing a back squat, with medium reps, and then I go to a high rep sissy squat. That's the next exercise. And these are not done, I'm not saying you do these as a superset, I'm saying over the course of a workout. All right, so on a leg day, this was, I did squats, and then I go to the sissy squat next. Of course, and then after that, I do leg extensions and other stuff for my quads. All right, this is a perfect example. Up here next, you'll see in the rotation, you will see me doing weighted chin-ups. Again, a big, heavy exercise for the lats and the biceps. Now, obviously, I do more for the lats than just this, but just showing as an example because it is technically a bicep exercise. All right, so you see that, and then you see me doing, here in the rotation coming up, I've got a clip of me doing one-arm preacher curls, okay? And then after that, we have closed grip easy bar curls. So what's going on here? You're seeing big work followed by smaller pump refinement work. All right, because what we need to remember, these big exercises is where we get most of our overall size. Okay, it's where we get most of our overall size. And having heavy progressive overload on those is going to be your primary driver of hypertrophy. Sorry, but when people have tried to say volume is the primary driver, it just does not seem to be true. It's not the case. Because if that was the case, people wouldn't be just as big who do, moderate reps, really hard, really heavy with progressive overload and lower volumes. Because you see it all the time, and that's a successful strategy. And I'm not saying the higher volume strategy doesn't work. What I'm saying is volume can't be the driver of hypertrophy. Unless we mean, we can't just do one rep, obviously. Right? You need multiple sets and multiple reps if you want to stimulate significant hypertrophy. But mechanical tension is a big deal. And then we come over to, again, overall efficiency. Right? You're not going to stand around doing small pump work as your primary training modality. It would take you forever to do that for every muscle, and you would end up being weaker. So the big movements are our base building. So like you've seen here so far, the squats and the chins, and I've got bench press coming up next. Right? So those are three movements. Obviously that doesn't hit the posterior chain as hard and hamstrings, but take those three movements. If you did bench pressing, weighted chins, and squats and got really good at them, you'd have a pretty good amount of muscle mass to your overall body. You would. We'll get back to that in a minute. And I've got one more example in here before we discuss that idea further. So I'm doing some bench pressing here. And this is obviously not that heavy because I'm doing, sets of 10. Nice, strict, wide grip, long range of motion bench, no arch, pausing on the chest. This is a big movement. Works the chest primarily, but it works front delts, definitely works triceps. And then afterwards, you see me doing an incline extension. I'm on an incline bench at a fairly tall incline, so it's almost a similar angle to just a behind the head extension, right? But what are we doing here? Working the triceps from a different angle. This is where we get a lot of the benefits of the smaller work. Because you would look at that bench press, and we know the bench press builds the lateral head of the tricep extremely effectively. It can leave a lot to be desired for the long head, which is the biggest head. An exercise like this works all three heads too, but much, 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 much more focus on that long head. That one that really gives you that size from the side. Right? When someone turns to the side and you see that big, thick tricep back there, it's coming from that long head by the armpit. All right. So again, doing our pump work to fill in the gaps. Big compounds followed by either smaller compounds or isolation that fill in the weak links and work those muscles further, get all those deep fibers or heads of the muscle that maybe get under-trained. But, the perfect example, you see these 3 big exercises, a back squat, a bench press, a weighted chin-up. Could a person get reasonably big on those 3 movements? Of course, they'll build a big base on you. But then what all these other exercises do, they really fill in the gaps, right? There's a couple types of curls there, working the biceps from different angles. See a tricep extension in there that will work the triceps from a very different angle of the bench press, completely different emphasis. Okay. Doing a back squat, but then you see me doing a sissy squat. Again, get a nice deep stretch on the quad, much lighter weight, easier to recover from. All right. So this is the idea. Big movements give us efficiency. They let us work a lot of muscles with a lot of weight and build a good, solid base. The problem is, of course, we can only handle so much of them. We can't always reach our best volumes off of them because they're hard on recovery and they're big movements. They're heavy. So we can only handle so much of it. So then if we need to refine everything else and say, well, I have whole heads of muscles that didn't get fully worked. Maybe I have some deeper fibers missing. I need some additional size in these places, right? Bench press isn't giving me everything I need in the chest and triceps, right? The chin up may not be giving me everything I need in the biceps and lats. So we come through and we do this pump work. Obviously with lighter weights, most of the pump work that I tend to do is going to be 10 plus reps. And I like the big movements, about, 5 to 10. But a lot of the smaller movements, 10 plus reps. You come in and pump those muscles. We work angles with strict exercises that work those heads and functions and muscle fibers that we missed on the big movements so that we get more complete development. All right. When you look back historically, this is the system that's worked. And when you deviate from it, people usually get less results. In other words, if you only do the small movements, you don't grow as much. If you only do the big movements, you don't grow as much. This has been found studying bench press versus extensions, right, in the triceps and chest. If you do the small movements first, you grow less. The lab has confirmed this. Champions figured this out long before we had the ability to even measure muscle growth inside the lab. They figured this out. So again, this sort of system works. It's time proven. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.